आरम्भगुरुवी क्षयिणी क्रमेण लघ्वी पुरा वृद्धिमती च पश्चात् दिनस्य पूर्वार्धपरार्धभिन्ना छायेव मैत्री खलसज्जनानाम्.
Today we sit with one of the most quietly brilliant verses in all of Sanskrit wisdom literature. It comes from Bhartrihari, the poet king of Ujjain, in his Niti Shataka, his 100 verses on wise conduct. Listen to the sound of it first. Arambha guruvi kshaini kramena, lagvi pura vriddhimati cha paschat, dinasya purvardha parardha binna, Chayeva Maitri Khala Sajjananam. Here is what it says. The friendship of the wicked and the friendship of the good are like the shadow of a single day, which behaves one way in the forenoon and the opposite way in the afternoon. The wicked person's friendship is Arambha Gurvi, heavy, huge, impressive at the very beginning, and then Kshaini Kramena, waning step by step. The good person's friendship is Lagvi Pura, light and small at first, and Vriddhimati Pashat, growing ever greater afterwards. Let the words themselves teach you. Arambha comes from the root rab, to seize, to undertake, that electric moment when something new begins. Gurvi is the feminine of Guru, which simply means heavy, weighty. Kshaini comes from the root kshi, to diminish. It is the same word Sanskrit uses for the waning of the moon, a decline that is gradual, silent, and certain. Kramena means step by step. Then the turn. Lagvi means light, small. It is actually a distant cousin of the English word light. Vriddhimati comes from the root vridh, to grow. And here is a lovely detail. Vriddhi is also the traditional word for interest on money, growth that compounds. Chaya is shadow. Maitri is friendship, from mitra, friend. Khala originally meant a threshing floor, the rough place where grain is beaten and husks fly, and it became the word for a harsh, base person. And sajjana is sat plus jana, literally a true person, a real one. In Sanskrit, the good person is simply the one who is real. Now, who was Bhartrihari? Tradition says he was a king, the elder brother of the legendary Vikramaditya, who was so wounded by betrayal in his own court that he eventually renounced his throne. Whether or not the legend is exact history, the voice fits. These are not the words of a sheltered scholar. This is a man who ruled, who was flattered by hundreds, who trusted, who was burned, and who watched courtly friendship behave exactly like a morning shadow. His Niti Shataka belongs to the Subhashita tradition, the tradition of well spoken verses meant to be memorized and carried through life like small portable instruments. And this verse truly is an instrument. It answers the oldest practical question in social life. How do you tell a true friend from a flatterer when the flatterer's opening performance is always better? Here is the deep part, and I want you to really see it. Ask yourself, why is a morning shadow long? Because the sun is low. Why is the noon shadow tiny? Because the sun is high overhead. Now decode the metaphor. The shadow is the outward display of friendship, the warmth, the gifts, the effusive words. The sun is the substance behind it, the actual sincerity, the actual character. And so the verse hides an inverse law inside its image. The lower the inner light, the longer and more dramatic the outward shadow. When someone dazzles you with warmth in the first hour, that is not evidence of love. It may simply be evidence of a low sun. Notice too what a shadow is. It attaches itself to your body and follows you everywhere, as long as conditions suit it. It costs the shadow nothing to accompany you. The wicked person's friendship is shadow-like in exactly this way, perfectly faithful while you stand in the sunlight of wealth and usefulness, and simply gone the moment your light fades. But the good person's friendship breaks the physics of shadows. It grows longest precisely as your day declines, strongest in your evening, in your hardship, in your old age. And savor that word kramina, step by step. False friendship rarely ends with a dramatic betrayal. It evaporates by degrees. The calls returned a little more slowly, the warmth 1 degree cooler each season. So gradual that, like a shrinking shadow, you never actually see it move. You only compare memories one day and realize it is gone. Real friendship compounds by the same invisible increments in the opposite direction. The wise across the world converged on this. Aristotle divided friendship into friendships of utility, of pleasure, and of virtue, and said the first two dissolve the moment the use or the pleasure ends, while true friendship needs time. You cannot know a person, he said, until you have eaten salt together. In China, the sage Zhuangzi said the friendship of the noble person is bland like water, while the friendship of the petty person is sweet like new wine. And the blandness endures while the sweetness turns. Modern psychology gave the morning shadow a clinical name, love bombing. Overwhelming early adoration used to create attachment, followed by staged withdrawal. And research on trust shows it is built not in grand gestures, but in thousands of tiny moments, the slow vriddhi of the afternoon shadow. So let me leave you with 3 questions and 1 practice. First, take your 5 closest relationships and ask, not how warm is each one today, but which direction has it moved over 3 years, waning or growing? Second, the harder question, where in your own life have you been the morning shadow? Lavish at the start when you needed something, thinner once you had it. Third, when you catch yourself performing enthusiasm, ask honestly, is my sun high or is it low, so that the shadow must do the work? And the practice, call it the Sundial Audit. From today, never weigh a relationship at its dawn of charm. Weigh its slope. When someone new floods you with intensity, silently note, morning shadow, verify. Be courteous, commit nothing, and let time run its assay, because time is the one test that cannot be flattered. And each day, invest one small, unprompted act, a message, a favor, 10 minutes of true attention, in one old friendship that has quietly grown for years. Be yourself the afternoon shadow in someone else's life, small in claim, constant in growth, longest and most faithful exactly when their light is setting. Aramb Gurvik Shaini Kramina, heavy at dawn and fading. Laghvi Pura Vriddhimati Cha Pashat, light at first and ever growing. Hold the two shadows in your mind, and you will never again mistake brightness of beginning for depth of heart.
आरम्भगुरुवीक्षयिणी क्रमेण लघ्वी पुरा वृद्धिमती च पश्चात् दिनस्य पूर्वार्धपरार्धभिन्ना छायेव मैत्री खलसज्जनानाम्